Okay, so now we are able to make the projectile spawn from the rifle. Now let's add the movement to this projectile so that it behaves similar to a real bullet, right? So we're gonna go ahead on the blueprint projectile. That's where the functionality of the projectile is gonna be achieved. So let's go to viewport, and here we are gonna add a movement component so that we can control how it's gonna move. So we're gonna go here on add, and we're gonna look for a component called projectile movement. Very convenient to what we're trying to do in this situation. You can just call it like that, it's fine with the default name. And now here we can change how this projectile is gonna move. So in the details panel, we can go down into, let me see if I can find it. This one right here in the projectile category, you have this initial speed. So let's go ahead and set this to maybe 500 to start. And I think this is good for now. Let's just test to see how that does now. So when you run your game, it shoots the projectile, and let me just run it one more time. The drone shoots it, but as you can see, it kind of just like falls straight down to the floor. Why is that happening? That's happening because in the blueprint projectile, okay, the speed is good now, but we do have a gravity enable that is making the bullet drop to the floor every time. So this property here, projectile gravity scale, we're gonna change that to 0 so that basically the bullet doesn't fall due to gravity. So once you have made those changes, your bullet should now fly like a normal bullet and go in the air, as you can see in mine. The issue now is that it actually shoots the bullet correctly, but the projectile never disappears. Like it will keep flying there until the infinity of the level. And that is not necessarily good because it can cost a lot of processing power for our level. So we do have to change that too. Okay, so what you're gonna do is that you're gonna choose the BP projectile self component, this one up here, because that one has a property that can be useful for this situation called, I think it's called lifespan. Let's see if we can find it. This one, initial lifespan. So let's go ahead and just to test it out, have it as 2 seconds, just to show you like how it does. So now if it shoots 1, 2, and then boom, it disappears. So that's the property that we want. But I guess 2 seconds is very short, so I'm just gonna move it to, let's say, 10. So after 10 seconds, when the bullet is already like flying off the screen, then it can disappear off the screen. Okay? And then let's actually change that projectile movement. Let me see. Go to projectile movement and let's actually change that speed. Let's make it faster. I think like a value of 1500 is fine. So now it should look better when we shoot, like a little bit quicker. Boom. That makes more sense. That's like a real projectile. So now our shooting mechanic is working fine. So now let's just make it so that it shoots from both rifles because right now we're just using the left, right? So let's go to the BP drone. And here you see how we had this implementation for the left side. Let's duplicate these 3 nodes because that's pretty much the same thing we need for the right side. So just connect these two spawn actor nodes. And the only thing we're gonna change is the socket name here. We're gonna do now rifle R. So we have for the left and for the right. And now that our shooting is working, we don't really need those D-box spheres. Remember, we had that for testing. We can remove that because now we don't really need it. So delete all of those. Just leave it like how I have it. And now, after doing all these changes, our shooting should look good for both rifles. So let's test it out. Boom. That makes sense. That works. So make sure yours has it how mine does until this point.